Hey guys, happy snow day. I hope that everyone's staying warm and dry. I am putting together a presentation for you that we would have done in class had we been in class today, and it's about the annotated bibliography. So there are a couple of things that I need for you to do. I need you to watch my presentation, and then I need for you to go and watch the two presentations that are in our resources on Sakai. I mentioned both of those in the presentation toward the end. So once this is over, go on and jump in there, take a look at those before you get started trying to write your bibliography. If you don't watch all three, this and those two in the resources, before you start putting together your annotated bibliography, you're not going to do a good job on this. And it's not a long, lengthy assignment once you get started, but you do need to spend the time on the front end to watch the videos. And each video is relatively short, so total video time is going to run probably around 20 minutes, just like we would have done in the class, and then apply at the end, which is what we also would have done in the class. So your annotated bibliography is still going to be due on the same due date. So take some time this weekend, watch these, get that annotated bibliography together, and get it put in Sakai under the Assignments tab. All right, let's get started. Let's take a look first at what it is that we're doing in the pieces. So we're doing an annotated bibliography. To annotate something is to critically assess that thing and make notes about it. Then we have the second word, bibliography. Biblio, the root word, comes from the Greek word biblion, and it means book. For our purposes, we are expanding the idea of book to mean any type of article, book, newspaper, web page, etc. that we are looking at to annotate. And the suffix ography is also Greek in origin, and it means to write about. So what are we going to do? We are going to take notes on and then write about the sources that we find. Let's first look at the annotation that you're going to be doing for each source. There are three pieces to the annotation. There's the critical summary of the article, the evaluation of the source, and then the relevance of that source to your topic. And each of these areas are going to be 2 to 3 sentences. So as you go through each one, ask yourself, for the summary, how would you describe the source to someone? So what was the point of this particular source? And then the evaluation, who was the author? Are they qualified? Is the source reliable? When was it published? What was the purpose of the publication? That gives you key information about the source that you're looking at. And then third, you have to show your relevance. How does the source inform your essay? Was it helpful to what you're trying to do? That's a really important piece when you're looking at sources for your own essay. Next, we have the bibliography. This is just like any citation that we do. It's a record of the source you've chosen, and it's in the required style. So for us, the required style is MLA, and we've talked about this a little bit in class already, and the videos that I put under resources are going to really break this down for you. So that's where you're going to learn more about the bibliography piece of this and why they're so important for you to watch before you start your small bibliography project that we're getting ready to do. There are core elements to every MLA citation. One of the things I want you to remember is that not every source has all of the core elements. So if an element is missing, you just skip to the next element. And the elements go in a citation in order: author, title of source, container, version, volume or issue number, publisher, publication date, and location, always in that order. Keep that in mind as you watch the other videos and you get better at this. Let's take a look at an example. It tells us this book is part of a series called 20th Century American Writers, a brief introduction to the man and his work. After 50 pages of straight biography, Gurko discussed Hemingway's writing novel by novel. There's an index and a short bibliography, but no notes. The biographical part is clear and easy to read, but it sounds too much like a summary. Because I am drawing a timeline of Hemingway's work, the novel by novel information will be helpful. Let's underline each piece of the example. First, the summary, then the evaluation, and then the reflection. The summary, underlined in red, is a very brief one-line description that you might tell someone if you were trying to describe the work to them. The evaluation, underlined in blue, tells us who the author is, Gurko. We're going to assume he's qualified as part of the cohort that put this series together, and we learn that there is an index and a short bibliography, but no notes, and that he's discussing Hemingway's writing novel by novel, which tells us the purpose. And then finally, we have the reflection, which tells us whether or not the source is going to be helpful for the writer of the essay. All right, guys, now it's your turn. You're going to write a very short annotated bibliography. 2 sources, that's all I need for you to do. And you can choose your types of sources, but they have to be different types. So you could do a web page and an article, maybe from the library. You could do a web page and a book and an article, newspaper and a book, newspaper and a web page. You can combine them any way that you want, but you have to have 2 different sources that you've looked at to research your compare and contrast topic for your essay that you're writing. You already should have been looking at some of these books, articles, newspapers, web pages, etc. So you probably already have a lot of the information you need. And remember, we talked about it in class. The bibliography is different from the works cited in that it is sources that you looked at to inform your writing, but did not necessarily cite in your writing, where the works cited are the actual sources that you cite in your writing. So this bibliography are just things that you looked at to get the ideas in your head to help you to create the compare and contrast essay that you're working on. Make sure that you watch the other videos under resources and compare and contrast we talked about, and then you create your MLA citation, that comes first, and then your annotation comes after that. When you're finished, go to Assignments, Annotated Bibliography, select your file, and submit. Make note of the due date, which is February 25th, which is also our next meeting date. All right, that's it. Dr. Bird, over and out.